Hey YouTube! I'm back with another Helsinki tour, and this week I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite neighborhoods and one that I think you should check out if you ever come to Helsinki. It's the magical land of Eira. So the first thing you should know about Eira is that it's named for a building that's not even in Eira. I mean, technically it's just on the opposite side of the street here. But this is the Eira Sairaala, the Eira Hospital, that was completed in 1905 by Lars Sonck, who's a famous Finnish architect, built a bunch of churches and cathedrals all around Finland, and even here in Helsinki. I think the Kallio Church and Michael Agricola are two famous ones. But anyways, he designed this, and it's a bastion of the Finnish Jugendstil, or the Art Nouveau movement here. And it was built in the days before they had public healthcare, which Finland and the Nordic countries are very well known for nowadays. And it was built, as a private hospital, and it still continues to be operated that way. So it's a very unique and interesting hospital. Also interesting, the name Eira comes from a hospital in Stockholm, and it was named after the Old Norse mythological goddess of healing, Eir, E-I-R. And so this neighborhood is a neighborhood of healing, and I come here when my heart is heavy. I'm only half joking. You know, I had this thought today when I was looking at this building that a lot of Art Nouveau in Helsinki has this kind of, just imagine a dwarf wearing elvish clothing. You know, it's very robust and sturdy. You've got these granite things, but then you also have these beautiful little flourishes and artistic, details, very art inspired. And so, yeah. I don't know if that makes any sense. All right, let's move on. I'm getting awkward. There you go. I got comments on the last video that it wasn't silly enough, apparently. There was no dancing. People missed that. Well, I'm not promising dancing in every video, but there you go. So one thing I forgot to mention is that Eira was built entirely within just a few years, 1910 and 1914. And it was designed, or the layout was designed by the same architect who built the Eira Hospital. And so that's kind of the connection for why it's named Eira, a building that's not even in the neighborhood. Metsäkauris. Oh, we're still filming. We've come to our next stop along the Eira tour, and it's here in Ensipuisto, or Ensipuisto. I mess up Finnish all the time. It's just, we got to get used to it. But we have next to us a statue that gives this park another name, Bambi Park, which I think is a great name. Apparently, the name of the statue in Finnish is Metsäkoiru. I hope I said that right. I should double check, which means roe deer. So, quick update, I said the Finnish wrong, surprise. it's Metsäkauris, and yeah, it's a beautiful little Bambi deer. And that's all I have to say on that topic. I think they missed a real opportunity here with the statue. I mean, they could have added a hat into the original casting, but that's their loss. I need that hat though, I can't leave that there. But it is objectively improved. The next stop on our tour of Eira is this beautiful building behind me called Villa Ensi, completed in 1912, originally built as a maternity ward, named after the daughter, Ensi, of the businessman who who commissioned it. Some fun facts for you. In the 1930s, it was converted into a private residence. It has 16 beautiful apartments, and I'm going to be careful about filming it since it still is a private residence. And I don't want to creep out the people who live there. But yeah, nowadays, it's actually a kind of assisted living center for the elderly, which is kind of beautiful. And I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, I would like some assisted living. Who cares about age, right? Like, there are kids who, you know, who take like college mathematics at age 12. Well, at the ripe age of 33, I would like to test into one of these assisted living facilities. I think it wouldn't be so bad living right here with a view of the sea. You know, the great thing about being a vlogger is you just gotta be able to crack yourself up. You gotta keep your own sense of humor going, all right? Since no one else is gonna be around to laugh at it. That was unnecessarily morbid. Okay, I'm gonna stop filming. I hope that there's someone in that building that's been watching me this whole time. Just being an idiot out here. Our next stop is by this statue of Jhin Aho, one of Finland's famous writers, a novelist and a journalist. He helped found Päivälehti, which is the predecessor of Helsingin Sanomat, the most widely circulated paper in Finland. And what I find most interesting about this guy is that he wrote several interesting novels, and the first of which was called Railroad. Rautatie. I can't think of a more Finnish novel. Oh yeah, what's like a famous Finnish novel? It's just a book about a railroad. Yeah, we relate really hard. More interestingly, perhaps, he wrote a novel called Yksin, which means alone. And it was one of these novels that was kind of disguised as fiction, but it was true in the sense it was a story of his unrequited love with Aino Jarnfeldt, who at that time was secretly engaged to Jean Sibelius, his nemesis. But it turns out that Sibelius and Aho became friends and were neighbors in Järvenpää. And yeah, so this statue here kind of commemorates this famous author who lived in one of the buildings around here. I don't know which one, but yeah. There you go. Let's move on, and as we do, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the neighborhood. One of his novels is adapted by Aki Kaurismäki, one of the famous Finnish filmmakers, who also made a kind of satirical comedy, a separate movie, about some desperate men in Kallio who are trying to get to Eira, which is the symbol of wealth and well-being in Helsinki, you know, since it was kind of, I mean, you come here, it's pretty fancy here. And so it's one of these comedies of these guys trying to go through the Helsinki metro and dark alleys and tunnels, all to get, you know, to their promised land here. So Eira is a real important part of Finnish film, literature, art, culture, history. Okay, one more stop. I'm getting pretty tired. For our final stop on this tour of Eira, I picked a rather small and unassuming street called Sparta. I actually had to look back and read it because it's easy to forget this stuff. And I picked this place because you can learn a lot about Finnish history just by learning about why things are named the way they are. I guess that applies probably to anywhere you go, but I picked this place after learning about it from one of my favorite Instagram accounts, Helsinki Facades, which I recommend you go check out. This street is named after Mikhail Speransky, who was a famous kind of Russian politician who influenced a lot of Finnish whatever. But he was like the first Secretary of State in Finland during the time in the early 1800s when Finland joined Russia. you know, you have it planned out in your head how you can explain this. I'm not a good history teacher. But yeah, after the Finnish War, Finland became a duchy of Russia, and Speransky helped shape a lot of the politics here. So thanks for that. Thank you, Mr. Speransky. Oh man, there's so much on the lens. This is what you get for trying to film in Finnish winter. All right, well, that's been my tour of Eira. I hope you've enjoyed it. If I missed something or left something out or just got something plain wrong, please feel free to leave that in the comments and let me know what other kind of content you want, or if there's any neighborhoods you would like me to go explore. Thanks for watching this. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.